Welcome, everybody, to the very first episode of Goblins and Girlies. We are so excited to bring this podcast to you, to everybody who loves D&D, adventure, TTRPG. We hope to bring you on a journey with us. Please excuse the audio for the very first episode. We figured out a lot of kinks, and from episode 2 onwards, the audio quality is so much better, so please bear with us in this very first episode. With that being said, welcome to Goblins and Girlies. Welcome, everybody, to the first episode ever of Goblins and Girlies, a podcast where a bunch of friends have fun, make cool stories, and see where things take us. I am your humble dungeon mistress, Megan, and with us today, we have Louie.
I'm gonna be playing Zilphanis.
Beautiful. We have Matt.
Hi, I'm Matt. I'm going to be playing Caloron.
And then we have Roman.
Hi, I'm Roman, and I'm going to be playing Johnny Owl.
We have Drew.
What's up, everybody? I'm going to be playing Lucian, who is a fun guy.
And we also have Riley.
Stop. I'm Riley. I'm going to be playing Celine.
Beautiful. Thank you, players, for joining us on our adventure. And let's get into the first episode. Welcome to the continent of Axolinia. Suspended between the stars and the forsaken land below, Axolinia drifts like a celestial titan, its floating mass a marvel of ancient magics and lost gods. The continent, vast and untamed, is tethered to the scorched, lifeless world beneath. Imatan, a realm of forgotten histories and restless winds. Some say Imatan was once fertile, its secrets swallowed by time and calamity, or breaking. While others claim it was never meant to be lived upon, a void left behind by the gods who shaped Axolinia instead. Above, the heavens are alive with light, the stars blinding in their brilliance, constellations shifting in ways that the scholars have yet to decipher. And then there are the moons, 3 celestial sentinels that watch over Axolinia's fate. Mon, the Great Witness, a vast and solemn sphere of blue, its surface swirling with misty storms. Mahina, the Lover's Moon, a soft pink beacon that whispers blessed unions and casts longing upon the lonely. And Laline, the Wayward Spark, a tiny darting moon that streaks across the sky like a runaway ember, said to bring luck to those who glimpse its fleeting light. Yet, for all its splendor, Axolinia is not a land of peace. It is a world of grand ambitions and whispered omens, where kingdoms rise upon floating isles and fall into shadowed ruins. Its people, a myriad of blended lineages, and are bound by heritage. Few are born to a singular bloodline. Pure descent is a rarity. To those who bear it are called truebloods. A name spoken either with reverence or disdain, depending on who utters it. In the dawn hours, the Xenophats take flight, their vast wings eclipsing the rising sun. These majestic avians, both revered and feared, glide effortlessly through the skies, their haunting cries echoing across the land. Some cultures see them as omens, beasts that carry the spirits of the lost on to the next life, while others seek to tame them, forging sacred bonds with those willing to risk the fall. At the heart of it all stands Castle Axolinia, a fortress hewn from the darkest stone, its walls forged by the hands of dwarven artisans who whispered secrets of indestructible magic in every brick. By day, the obsidian citadel gleams with a spectral luster. By night, it shimmers under the moonlights like a beacon of shadow and steel. Here, Power moves like a shifting tide. Nobles clad in silks and sigils weave their intrigues, while scholars toil in the grand libraries, deciphering ancient texts that warn of reckoning yet to come. The ruling house, descendants of the first Axoli, said to be chosen by the gods themselves, hold their court beneath golden chandeliers, their voices commanding armies and shaping fates. I need everybody to roll a d6.
I got a 6.
Okay.
Let's do this.
I got a 5.
Okay.
I got a
Got a
1.
2.
Got a
Okay.
4.
I got a 2.
Roman, Matt,
Damn, everybody got something different.
Riley, Louis, you got a 1?
Chance.
Yeah.
All right.
1 out of 6.
Somebody had to do it. All right. Let's meet our first person. A tavern is thick with smoke and low conversation. The kind of place where secrets pass hands as easily as coin. Dim candlelight flickers against warm wooden beams, casting long, twisting shadows across the room. At the bar, a towering figure sits alone. Johnny Owl. His sharp features cast in silhouette, the deep brown of his eyes nearly indistinguishable from the dark liquid swirling in his glass. The scent is potent enough to sting, but he barely reacts. The room, the people, the shifting tides of movement, always watching. Through the haze, he clocks the approach before the figure even speaks. A cloud guard. In commoner's clothes? But that's not a commoner's gate. Johnny's grip tightens around his chest. You have been summoned, sir. The voice is low, gruff, belonging to a deep gnome, barely reaching your chest. The figure extends a weathered hand, a yellow sealed letter pinched between his fingers. Johnny doesn't answer. He finishes his drink in a slow, deliberate motion, plucking the letter from the gnome's grasp. Breaking the wax, he scanned the words. The clouds reach castle. The rites of adjoining. 3 days. For once, Johnny doesn't know what to do or say. Johnny, can you please describe your character and how you are feeling right now?
Yeah, so we see this he's kind of hunched over, still really processing this letter he's just read. Not really sure how to feel about it, but getting up, kind of dropping some coins for the drinks, tucking the
Thank
letter
you,
and
sir.
leaving the tavern.
So what do? You have just received a letter, and the letter states, Dear Johnny Owl, you have been requested at the behest of the being and the first Axoli family. You have been prophesied to join the rites of adjoining. We please implore you to come within 3 days' haste. And it is just signed by the royal family.
I'm gonna kind of mull on it for a moment, kind of really taking everything in and like considering what I'm being asked for. And for a moment, I think he kind of starts to crumple it, just about to like chuck it in the trash before really stopping himself from kind of getting rid of it.
Johnny, will you give me a history check, please?
Yeah. That is a 10.
A 10. So with the 10, you know that the Clouds Reach Castle is the most inner part of Axolinia proper within its 3 rings. And you have heard, everyone has kind of heard of the rites of adjoining. You have been prophesied to join the innermost circle of the Cloud Guard. This is something that not everybody gets to do, but most people see it as an exciting opportunity. People train for this. People wish their lives to do this and it passes them by. How do you feel upon receiving this letter?
All that in context. I think I get kind of pissed, actually. Is the person who delivered that letter still there?
They're probably like heading their way out.
I want to go confront this person.
Okay.
I want to stand in front of him, like really square up to him. I'm saying, why was I chosen?
Sir, we just deliver the letters. I don't know. You have been chosen by the being, and I was sent directly as a messenger from, King Janessa herself. She has said that this is going to all of the, right, people who have the rights. That is all that I know.
I'm gonna scowl at him and kind of get down a little closer to him. Kind of crouching down, like almost kind of one knee, I imagine. Can I see if he's lying? Can I glean anything additional from him?
Yeah, roll me an insight check.
That's a 5.
You think that he's telling the truth. You think he's on the level. He looks like, even though he's in commoner's clothes, but he has like a cloud guard, like a very like a presence about him. He's a little scared. You don't think he's very high up in the cloud guard. You think he was told, hey, deliver this letter. Here's what they look like. Here's all the information that you need. Go find them. And he's like kind of going back a bit like, please, sir, I'm just a messenger.
I'm gonna start to get up, like kind of picking myself back up. Before I let him go, I want to ask him, do you know if anyone else was involved in the choice for this?
Sir, I only believe the being is the one who could prophesize this.
I'll nod to him, and then I'll kind of just turn to walk away. And I'm going to be heading to the royal family, or where I'm being summoned.
Okay. What ring would you be in right now? Would you be in the third ring where the taverns and the bars are, or would you be in the trade district? Where are you right now?
I'm in the third ring.
Absolutely. You are in, you're in this tavern, and you leave. You take what you have. Do you have anything that you need to go home and pack for? Is there anything that you need to pick up?
No, I think he travels light.
Okay. You can take a like a tram that goes up through the rings. And we will meet you a little later on. Okay. A campfire flickers, its golden light casting playful shadows across a gathered crowd. Laughter and chatter fill the air, but is soon silenced by the strum of a lute. At the center sits Caleron, a purple-skinned tiefling with curling horns. His fingers dancing across the strings, coaxing an enticing melody into the night. The song moves like a whisper, and others will sway, and eyes half closed, lost in the tune. Even the world's most weary travelers tap a foot, most of their burdens forgotten momentarily. But all songs must end. As the final notes fade and scattered coins clink into the worn edges of his cloak, Caleron gathers them absently, stepping away from the warmth of the fire, away from the glow of admiration. The light recedes, and in its absence, a sigh escapes him, long, deep, tired. Then, movement. A figure approaches through the dim light. A tall human clad in Cloud's Guard armor. They have dark skin, and she simply extends a letter to you with a gold crest that shines in the firelight. You have been summoned. No elaboration, no preamble. She hands it to you and turns and disappears quickly as he has come.
Oh, nice to meet you too.
She books it, does not care. You in your hands have a letter. You open it.
Yeah, I open it.
Okay. This letter reads the exact same as Roman's, letting you know that you are summoned to the Clouds Reach Castle. You are to be a part of the rites of adjoining, and you have 3 days before you are requested to be there. Caloron, can we have a description of your character and how you are feeling right now?
Yeah, Caloron's like a pretty tall, purple halfling, not halfling, sorry, tiefling. He's got kind of a white tunic that shows a little bit too much of his chest, if you ask some of the older folks. But the younger folks like it just fine. He has a short, full black beard and long black hair tied back into a braid. He is almost always carrying a sack and a lute. Right now, just holding a lute and a letter. And he just looks at this. I think he just goes, huh, and tosses the letter aside.
As if by magic, the letter zooms back into your hand.
Oh, good, some wizard shit.
This is almost like an invitation that you need to have, and it seems like it will not leave you.
Oh, good. So I just have to carry this around until I go. It turns out. Yippee. I guess I'm going.
What are you feeling in this moment? Would you like to give me a history check?
I'd love to give you a history check. Caloron is feeling a little peeved. He does not like authority, much less gods, and that is what he believes the being to be. So he is planning on showing up and not being nice.
Perfect.
I got a 16 on the history check.
Okay, so with a 16, obviously we know where the castle is, but the rites of adjoining. This is a complicated magical rite. This is some like heavy magic shit that's like binding forever. So, and you also know that with the being the one to prophesize it, as much as you might want to try to get out of it, somebody somewhere might try to grab you and take you to where you need to be. These are more than legend and lore. This being is walking amongst people after generation and generation of reincarnation. You know that this being doesn't just do things to do things. They truly have a purpose, and you know that if this is pretty serious, like this is some pretty serious shit that you've been summoned to.
I
What
don't like a single bit of it.
do you have to pack anything up? Do you have to go home and grab anything? Where is home?
Caloron doesn't have a home. Caloron lives in every tavern he comes across and plays at. He gets fed by tavern keeps and gets all of his water from beer. He just picks up his sack and his loot and he's ready to go.
Beautiful. So this camp is on the outside of the last ring. So before you enter Axolinia proper, this is just a traveling camp of people who have been kind of nomadic, which is a perfect place for you to find different taverns, play amongst different places, and people come and go as they please. And so as you slip off, no one really says a thing. It's kind of that comfort of anonymity, but that loneliness as well. So as you make your way into the ring, we'll move on to our next person. All right. The rhythmic clash of steel bars and the steady thud of fists against wooden dummies echo through the stone-walled chamber. Celine, a pink-skinned tiefling, horns adorned in golds and jewelry, her chest rising and falling with exertion. Beads of sweat trail down her delicate brow, but she does not falter. She plants her feet firmly on the smooth stone, letting its cool solidity anchor her. Her breath steadies, her fingers curl, a warmth building beneath her skin. A surge of magic, honed through years at the General's Academy for Talented Youth. This was more than training. It was control. It was power. She exhales, ready to release the spell. Bang! The door burst open, slamming against the wall. Moonbeam! The magic fizzles as Celine startles, her parents rushing inside, a letter clutched between them, waving it wildly, and her mother's tail flicks with excitement, and her father's eyes are shining with pride. You've received a letter from the first rank proper! Celine blinks, catching her breath. You must read it at once! They stare, unwavering anticipation thick in the air. Celine swipes a towel across her face before taking the letter, breaking the seal with careful precision. Her eyes scan the words. The Cloudreach Castle, the rites of adjoining. 3 days. The weight of it settles over her shoulders like a mantle, heavy with significance. Her parents beam, practically vibrating, waiting for what it said. Celine, can you describe your character and how you're feeling right now?
So Celine is kind of this tall, lean-built, almost pillar of a woman, standing a little taller than both of her parents. She has her hair it's kind of a little longer than shoulder length, and there's a bunch of it pulled up into a bun, tucked neatly behind her horns. She kind of stares down at this letter in her hands. And as soon as she's done reading it, her first immediate reaction is kind of just this nervousness builds up in her stomach. Why is she getting this letter? Why her of all people? And she looks at her parents and she kind of steadies her nerves for a second and loosens her grip on the paper itself and is not grabbing it as harshly anymore. And kind of looks at her waiting parents and just forces a smile onto her face, and meets their gaze and tells them, I've been summoned for the rites of adjoining.
Moonbeam, darling, that's so amazing. Can't believe this is what you've been training for your entire life. Moonbeam, this is so exciting. We must pack for you at once. What do you need? Darling, you have to be calm. Celine has days. What do you need? How can we help you? We're so proud. We've been training for this for your entire life, and we could not be just more overcome and overwhelmed right now. Your mother just envelops you in a hug. She puts her hands under yours because she's still a little smaller than you, and just gives you a big ol' squeeze, and your father gives you a nice, a pat on your shoulder, like a very congratulatory way. And with everything, they're kind of just whisking around, like, what do we need to get? Oh gosh, what are we gonna pack? What is she gonna wear? And they're whisking off doing things. As they leave with this whirlwind of emotion, how do you feel right now?
As soon as they're gone, as soon as they are out of the room and I can hear the silence and feel the silence kind of settle back in over me, and it's just me where I've been training, that nervousness kind of sets back in. Celine kind of grips back into the paper a little bit and looks back down at it, and she's kind of just reading it over and over again to herself, thinking, it has to be a mistake. It could, there's no possible way it could be her. There's so many people that have exhibited so much talent. Why her? Why does she have this letter? But as she's kind of debating that nervousness, she also kind of squishes it back down and realizes that her parents are right. This has been planned out. This has been her life's path, and now she finally has it proof in her hand that all of this hard work was for something. It wasn't just aimless hopes that never really reached the other side.
What do you pack? What do you bring? How do you travel to the city proper?
She kind of just packs a couple sets of clothes. She has on the same her usual basic daily like light armor that she kind of is so used to wearing. Food for the travel. And just a couple little things from home, just like a little portrait of her and her family, a book to read on the travel.
Before
And
you
then-
leave, your father comes up to you. Darling, I know that this is a big task, but you're ready. I know that you're ready. But in case you forget who you are or where you came from, have this. And there's a little green box with your family's crest on it. And he says, open it when you're there and you need a little encouragement. And he hands it to you.
She takes the box and she just looks down at it for a second before looking back at her father, and she just gives him a small little nod. And, thank you. I know you and Mother are very proud of how far I've come, and I'm going to continue to make you proud.
We know you can. And as you ride off, your mother comes next to your father, and they put their hands behind, like next to each other, and your mother lays her head on your dad's shoulder, and they wave as you set off on your journey. And the lens moves. Next, the sun hangs low over the cragwood, its golden light dancing across the verdant fields and the ever-sprouting geysers. Among the rolling steam and the scent of damp earth, we find Lucian, a green dragonborn whose iridescent scales catch the light like molten gold. His sharp eyes alight with curiosity, locked onto the strange fungi before him. A deep violet with a shifting teal shimmer, a rare bloom of the crag's fertile soil. With practiced hands, he turns over a clump of earth, his robe sleeves pulled up past his elbows, revealing intricate vine-like markings on his forearms. Around him, a handful of fellow researchers murmuring, cataloging their latest discoveries beneath the towering plumes of steam. A disturbance. Boots crunch against the soil as a dwarven ranger, clad in royal colors of gold and turquoise, approach with purpose. The sigil of Axolinia gleams on his breastplate. Without ceremony, he extends a weathered hand, producing sealed parchment, thick, embossed, important. Lucian wipes dirt from his claws before accepting it. The wax seal, tantalizing, to be opened. You open it.
Yes.
You see, the main things are the Cloud Reach Castle, the rites of Adjoining. 3 days. You have been chosen. Around you, the cragwood remains unchanged, steam rising, soil pulsing with life, but your world has just shifted beneath your feet. Lucian, can you please describe your character and how you are feeling right now?
Lucian is a male golden dragonborn. I think you described his scales perfectly. At their base, most of the scales are a deep green. Kind of lightens to a crisp cyan towards the tips. His underbelly is like a shimmering golden color. And then atop his head, Lucian has a fan of sharp golden horns The most prominent of which are two huge horns that begin to like arch towards the back of his head and then upward past the ears. They fork into two more sharp points as they rise half a foot above his skull. And then amongst those horns, he's always got them. He probably had to lift them up as he heard the boots approaching. A pair of burnt leather goggles with one side as a small attachment for magnification. He often used these pretty often to, or just kind of like sets them up on his horns when he's not studying plants and such. But he has these very serious and studying green snake-like eyes that have no idea where to look right now. The letter, all of the people that are with him, all of his fellow researchers, along his chin and of course down his spine are another kind of just array of golden spikes similar to his horns. And these run all the way down a 5-foot long tail with a golden hook spike at the ends. Lucian is an average height for his family, which is 6'2". He weighs, he's a heavy guy. Not so much for a dragonborn, only 250 pounds. He's lean built for the dangerous wilderness explorations that he's accustomed to. Doesn't really look like he could win in an arm wrestle, but he could definitely climb a tree as fast as a squirrel. Lucian is he doesn't own too many different things or outfits, so he's always wearing like this worn out leather armor sets. And then a lot of that has been marked by nature here and there, just with the things that he's seen and been through. He's got a number of extra buckles and leather straps bound to him to carry all manner of samples from his research. And underneath those leathers, he wears a tightly wrapped gray and white cloth to cover most of his arms and torso. He's always rewrapping this to make sure that nothing gets caught in the wild. In his hand, he's leaning against a sturdy wooden walking stick made from wood as black as onyx. And he, thinking to the letter, looking down at it, he kind of reaches up and grabs onto a gnarled roots with some mushrooms growing on it as he reads the words very carefully once over again. He is not used to things quite as formal as this. Most of his family are, kind of backwater sticks, people of the Cragwood, and he's pretty anxious, kind of nervous, doesn't really know what this means for him and what he's been working on. He quickly looks to his fellow researchers if anybody else has an answer or knows what he's to do. Just
the first person to kind of notice that you're acting strangely is Rue. She comes up, he was like, Mr. Fungi, what's going on? Why is there somebody here from the Cloud Guard?
I was curious of that as well. Rue, and I'll open the letter. I've been summoned. Do you know what this means?
The rites of adjoining? We have so much work to do. Are you going to leave us?
I don't think I have a choice. Do I?
You see Tails kind of comes up, this big half-orc, who kind of towers over Rue, puts his hand on her shoulder, just an orc of very few words, just goes, he does not have a choice. It has been foreseen. And you see the others, you see Donick and Dahlia kind of stop, at the rumbling words of Tails. Everybody just kind of starts to turn. Your research team, who has been looking to you for so long for answers, there has to be a reason why the Cragwood is here. There has to be a reason why the life here is so strange across the entire continent. Your life's work. They're looking to you. What do you say to them?
No, do not fret, everyone. There is much work to be done. You might have to go on a little while without me, but you all have seen what to do, how to collect the samples. Rue, you've come so far with your brew and your potions.
You see Thistle. Her eyes are starting to well up a little bit. She's just like,
Oh.
Are you really going to leave us, Mr. Fun Guy? Please, I don't know what to do. What happens if you're gone? And she starts to cry, and of course, you know, there are the Stormbeard brothers who are just there, kind of just like, okay, we'll make our way. We'll got this. We can make things happen. It's okay. And you see Rue just kind of stands there, and then we can do it. We can carry on your research. We will be sure to write all of our findings down. We can send them to you. Just let us know that you're there and that you're okay.
In any way I can. Remember, what we're doing here is very important. Maybe I'll have the opportunity to, I don't know, share some of what we've learned, and maybe next time I see you, we'll be doubled in our efforts.
You see Dahlia come up, and she goes, this is such an opportunity. You can show the research we've been working on to the royal family, to the being. You can tell them about everything. You can tell them about what's going on. And then Thistle pipes up, you can tell them that maybe the gods are at hand. And, you know, everybody kind of looks at her. She's like, okay, do your thing. But Dahlia has like this bright-eyed, like, this is an opportunity. And then you see Tails come up, put his hand on your shoulder, a big, nice grip, feels really sturdy, and just goes, we will follow you wherever you go. We trust you, and we will support you from the crag. How do you feel? What are you doing?
That definitely lightens my heart to hear each of them kind of rally alongside me. As nervous as I imagine a Lucian is feeling. He's having such like an emotional connection, and they hold on to that for a little bit. You'll kind of get in close, you know.
They all come around and they're hugging you. Thistle's sobbing. Rue is trying really hard not to cry. The Stormbeard brothers are like down by your legs, each one on each leg, kind of just rocking you.
You guys, you've been my family for as long as I can imagine. This, I don't know what comes next, but, you're right. This is an opportunity, and I don't know. I mean, of course, there is at least the one god that's involved in this, but it's got to mean something.
It's at this point that you see the Cloud Guard who handed you the letter, who has the Xanafat, asked you, do you have anything you need to grab? We will be riding.
Lucian panics all over again. I've got to get to. What if the animals get hungry? I'll need potatoes. What if I need more potions? I'll need a brew. And I'm just scurrying back and forth trying to.
He tells you.
He
will tell you. He'll be like, "I will be here at dawn. We'll ride." And he assumes that you tell him where to pick you up. He'll pick you up at the edge of town. And you guys will make your trek on a giant eagle bat to Axolinia proper.
Perfect.
This animal is big. This can comfortably sit 2 people on it. 3 small folk. You being a dragonborn might be pushing it, but you're lucky that he's a dwarf and it'll be okay. So, like, it's gonna be okay. But, like, this makes you feel small.
Oh man.
It's like a big beast of burden. Like, this is meant to carry people long distances. And you can just kind of hear it go like big deep breaths that kind of like rumble around. And as you like go to get on him, it like goes with 3 big gusts. You are up in the air and you are navigating through the geysers and you're seeing all the agriculture as you make your way to Axolinia proper.
I just kind of grip onto the door, but I'm like, how much are one of these? This could be beneficial. Very.
The dwarf looks at you and goes, you don't have enough. And just keeps flying.
He's right. He's right.
And then the scope moves farther. A grand library hums with quiet activity. The scent of aged parchment and ink thick in the air. Towering shelves that stretch toward vaulted ceilings, their spines coated in dust, while figures clad in black glide between them, whispering knowledge from tome to tome. Against a smooth stone pillar, Zalfanis stands. Silver blonde hair falling loose as he thumbs through a worn page of a book. The words blur in his periphery as his gaze drifts towards the window. Drawn by the first golden rays of the dawn cresting over the obsidian steeple. For the first time since the early morning bells, he allows himself a breath. Deep, steady, grounding. A rare moment of stillness. Then a voice cuts through the quiet. Zil! You have a visitor? He blinks, focus snapping back as another half-elf approaches. Long hair with striking facial markings. They nod toward the window below. A cloud guard awaits, their posture rigid, their presence unmistakable. Before he can question it, the figure strides into the library, a druid, cloaked in royal garb, but also with nature's hues, stepping into the domain of ink and stone. They say nothing at first, only extend a hand, offering a letter. It is sealed, heavy with significance. You take it, tracing your fingers across the embossed sigil before breaking black. Do you read it?
So as I'm standing there, when I look over and I see the cloud guard, my very first instinct is like pure panic and a bit of dread. But I make it a big effort to not show it. I'm very calm, but inside I'm kind of like freaking out. But I take the letter from him and I kind of look at it and I'm a little bit confused. This is not I didn't expect anything like this. But after I take a moment to kind of just collect myself, I go ahead and I open the letter. I break the seal.
You read that you are summoned to the Cloud Reach Castle for the rites of adjoining in 3 days. A chill settles over your skin, bringing goosebumps to the surface. Though the dawn's warmth still lingers on your skin, you close your book in hand, and you feel like your life is going to change again. Sylvanas, can you describe your character and how you are feeling right now?
So, he's kind of a little bit on the taller side. He's just over 6'1". He's got this nice tan skin from being out in the sun all the time. He's got a big scar that goes right across the bridge of his nose and well onto his cheek. and as well as a smaller scar on his lip and his eyebrow. He's got this really big, spirally face tattoo that's like a pale green that kind of goes into his hairline and a little bit to on his neck. And he's got these really, really pretty blue piercing eyes with a little bit of like brown in the middle. And his hair's kind of pushed back, and he's got similar pale green kind of striped through his hair as well. And I'm standing there, and I read over the letter once, twice, a third time, and my fear has turned from, well, it's turned from fear to kind of confusion.
As this
I
is
read it
happening,
over.
your brother, who's shorter than you, comes around and is on his tiptoes, trying to look to see what the letter says, being really nosy. You hear Auroras go, Zil, what is it? What does the letter say? We don't get mail.
I kind of just stand there a little bit in a bit of like, oh god, oh god, oh god. And then I kind of just slowly look to him and I go, I'm gonna be a cloud god. And I kind of say with a little bit of like disbelief.
A cloud god? You? Let me see the letter. Let me see the letter.
I'll kind of like hold it open so that he can like scan it over and read it a little bit.
Oh my god. A cloud god.
Yes.
What are you going to do? Why?
I don't know. I don't think I can like say no. I don't want to be a cloud god.
Well, you can't say no. The being's the one who summoned you. What, are you gonna have the cloud god after you?
I kind of just sigh. I don't know. I guess I'll have to go. But I don't want to just leave you like this.
God,
I mean,
what am
it's
I
always-
going to do? Do they think I'm going to be the scholar here? Not me. I have other plans. Gosh. What are you going to tell your adeptus? What are you going to tell Miriam?
I guess I'm just gonna have to show him the letter. I don't think anyone would believe me if I just told them. I feel like I'd have to show them.
Do you go find Miriam?
Yeah, I'm gonna neatly fold the letter back up and I'm gonna go find Miriam.
You go through the obsidian steeple, you're passing the corridors, and you go to the office that you know is for Adeptus Miriam. This has been your contact. She has been the one who has been cultivating you and giving you the tomes that you need in order to further your faith with Dawnflower. She wears the Dawnflower symbol, a beautiful ruby encased in hands, and she is sipping some tea and sitting in her comfortable brown leather chair with a little lantern next to it. And you go in and she's like, "Oh, Zilphanis, darling, what's going on today? You look a little frazzled."
I'm not quite sure how to explain this, so and I just kind of open the letter and I kind of hold it to her, and I've been chosen to be a cloud god. I have to leave this place.
Give me the letter. She takes it and she scans it, and you see her like brows furrow. She's like scanning every word, every letter, making sure that she's reading it correctly. And she goes, "The rites of adjoining. That's serious." And you see her think to herself, and she's like, what an honor. I know it might not feel like it, but you have been chosen because of what you've been through, because of your journey. I hope to see you flourish and grow. She hands the letter back to you, and she says, I will take care of the boy. He will be under my stead. And please, if you need anything from the Obsidian Oracles, we are here. Please write to us. Let us know that you are okay. I'm sure your brother would wring my neck if we don't hear.
Oh, he kind of nods, and he just still kind of just standing there in like disbelief and the thought of having to go back to this place that he left is weighing very heavily on his mind, and not really wanting to go, but he can't not go, so.
You come down the stairs, you have your things, and you see your brother, Aurorus. 5 years you're younger, and still bright-eyed and curious about the world, and unsure of the bigger dangers. He goes, Zill, I'm going to miss you. I don't know what I'm going to do without you.
I put my hands on his shoulders, and I just give him a smile. I'm determined to not let him see how genuinely terrified I am. I go, you'll be just fine. You've grown, and you can take care of yourself now, and you'll have these people here, and I will write as often as I can. And
Zolfanis, I need you to make me a deception check against his perception.
Okay. Let me do that. Let's say 12.
Okay. You see Aurorus nod and take comfort with your words, and he gives you a big hug. So I will stay, and I will try to not get in trouble. Try my best.
Oh my god.
I could rise to the occasion.
Rarely, but there's a first for everything.
You see him smile, and with like almost glassy eyes, says, I'm just, be safe. Write me. Okay.
You know me, I can take care of myself.
He puts his hand on you and just goes, but you have to let others take care of you too.
I'll just kind of give like a breath and just nod. Not really in agreement, but just in an acknowledgement.
All right. Everybody is on their way. 3 days. Some of you are 2.5 full days of travel. Those of you who are outside of Axolinia proper. Those who arrive early, who were already in the circles, arrive within a day. Longer if you lollygag. But as you all arrive, this is where we will take our break. Okay. We arrive back at Axolinia proper at the castle. The Cloud's Reach castle is just this dark black stone in our tower among tower among tower, and it has a staircase that just seems to go on forever. It's almost overpowering and overwhelming in a way, especially any of you who have not been to the castle before. This is where the wealth goes to. You see there are turquoise and gold tapestries with the symbol of the royal family and the symbol of the being on the crests. You see that throughout everything, there is just a presence. As you arrive at the different times that you guys would arrive from how far you guys are away, each of you are taken into a waiting room, a chamber. And it is lavish, gaudy, some might say. It has a 4-post bed with like 6 pillows plus decorative pillows. It has just a mahogany writing desk. It has chests. It has just all kinds of decorations and pictures of the royal family and the royal families of past, all the way dating back from the first Axoli people, the first Axoli family. And you each will stay there until the rite of adjoining begins. The first to arrive would be Johnny Owl. Johnny, what are you doing in your chamber? How are you feeling?
I'm not really looking forward to talking to anyone here. I don't really think I'd like anyone here. I think I'm kind of just pacing the room, looking if there's anything that looks like I could kind of just like remove and wouldn't be missed.
Give me a perception check.
Yeah. Perception. It's a 3.
A lot of the stuff here is heavy and like not easily taken. Like there's big gold-plated frames that are like 3 foot big portraits. The desk itself would probably fetch a pretty penny, but that's a fucking like 400-pound desk, okay? There's not a lot that you can like steal that would be missed. So you're just kind of looking around. It's pretty swanky.
Can I look out my window? Can I look out and see anything?
Yeah, absolutely. So when you look out your window, it's kind of facing that like east direction. It's probably what daytime are you looking at the window right now?
Night?
Okay, so it's dark outside. The 3 moons are out at their different intervals. And very, very faintly in the distance, you see Laline, as she's making her rotation around. She's the slowest of the moons. So this year is supposed to be a year of new beginnings. And you stare out at the rings. You can see the rings as they go down, and you see the different lights. In Axolinia proper, the most innermost ring, there are lights everywhere. It is just glistening and glitter and glitz. And the second ring at this time is not as active. Trade isn't really happening right now. Most guilds have closed their doors, and as you look farther out, there are speckles of lights where the taverns that you frequented are. You can probably guess where your favorite ones are, just based on the direction, but you just see the city in all of its expanse.
I think Johnny Owl, kind of not really having the best of time, is gonna head out. Can I look for like kind of a seedy tavern? As seedy as you can get in the area, I mean.
Yeah, you would stumble upon the Dawnflowers Ale House. You see that this ale house is It's not as glitz and glitter. It's more just a wood frame. It's got nice oak all around it, but this is probably where the seedier people of Proper would go to.
Okay. I'll walk up to the bartender, kind of sit down there.
You
and start kind of
see
off my own.
You see the bartender there. She is just she's a little old dwarf. She's got like blonde hair pulled back into these two really thick braids. She has a beard that is also delicately braided with little bits of silver, like beads all around, and she will clock you come in and she'll be like, "And what are you having?"
Something cheap.
She looks at you and looks around. And she goes, "Cheap's not really what we do here, honey."
All right.
I can get you a water.
Sure. And can I get some information from you? And I'll slide a coin over.
She looks around. She takes it. She slides you a water. What you need, honey?
Do you know of anyone else called in by the royal family?
You mean the rest of the cloud god coming?
Yeah.
Well, it's honestly been the talk of the town. But all I know is we got some people coming from all over this time. We got people coming all from kind of the outsides. And the outsides are normally referred to as the farthest most like cities, like the places that they are. And she'll say, I know of one. But you might need to convince me.
I'll drop another coin.
She takes it and she goes, "All right. There's a promising tiefling coming. And she's been on the talk for quite some time. Her name is Celine. Okay? She's been a prospect for a really long time. And I know that King Janessa has had her eye on her for a long time. I know that she's on her way. Because we got word from Ravenswood, the cloud god over there. She might be one to look out for. In a good way, of course. In a good way.
Any physical description I can use?
I hear she's pink." And she like winks.
Okay. Thank you.
Of course.
Yeah, I'll leave and I'm gonna start keeping an eye out for a pink tiefling.
Okay. No one comes that night. You're probably the first one to arrive. And I would say, what time do you go back to your room?
Late, probably 5 a.m.
Okay. You head back in, the cloud guard nod, and they give you like a look like, don't make this a habit. And they let you back in, and you go to your room, and then you relax. The next to arrive would be Caleron. And Caleron, you walk up to this just swanky castle, right? It's this big, this is the money, this is where everybody who's anybody comes from. And they show you to your room. You have this big plush bed. It's got everything that you could ever want, and it's just kind of like, all right, now what? How do you feel?
Yeah, I think Cal just kind of sits there at the edge of the bed for a second. Is there like a balcony?
Yeah, there's a balcony. You can open up the windows.
Okay, all right. I think Cal's gonna like sit on that balcony and play lute for maybe like an hour or so.
Can I have a performance check, please?
Yes. Absolutely you can. Let me get off notes and get on. There we go. That is a dirty 20.
Okay. So as you're playing, I would say it's probably just after sunrise. You got there early in the morning, kind of restless. You see over the courtyard 2 little Genasi boys stop their playing and watch you play. And you see them whispering like, and they're whispering and pointing and they're just watching you play. And they are mesmerized by this loot.
Yeah, I think Cal hams it up a little bit.
They are dying. They are all about it. They
My dog
absolutely
is
love it.
freaking the
Oh,
fuck
you're
out.
good.
Yeah, no, Cal is, absolutely just somebody's watching, so he's playing. That's all there is to it. I think when they do finally stop watching, Cal is also going to go down and into town to see if he can make some money.
Ooh, okay. Where do you look? What kind of, what are you trying to do for that money?
We're in the swanky part of town, yeah?
We are in the swanky part of town.
Cal's gonna stand outside of the fanciest looking tavern he can find, drop his loot case on the ground, and just start playing.
Okay. You find the Silver Tongue. You find the Silver Tongue. This is a ornate tavern. It has just filigree built into the wood. It has just this big old, almost marquee looking light that has Silver Tongue written on it. It's got a big hanging picture of like a beautiful woman's mouth with like a tongue that's like delicately out, that's silver.
Man, hell yeah. Yeah, Cal is gonna look at this very, very tasteful imagery and immediately start playing folk.
You see, as you're playing, give me another performance check for this one.
Alright, part 2. Let's go.
Electric Boogaloo.
That is, what is that? It's an 18 plus 5. That is a 23.
You see patrons coming out who probably haven't really heard a lot of folk before, who are just kind of sitting there watching, and you know, if you have like a hat or something that you put out, they'll toss like a silver in. Roll me a d20.
Ooh, I like that. Let's go. 13.
You get 13 silver pieces and 1 gold piece. People
Hell yeah.
are really enamored by that, and you probably are playing there for a good hour and a half before the like owner of the bar, who is just this like hulking half orc kind of person. They're like, "Hey, you have to go. You cannot be playing here. You are not scheduled for tonight. You're scaring away the patrons."
I'm sorry, do you own the outside of the bar too?
As a matter of fact, I do. I own this entire plot.
Cal like takes a couple steps further away and he goes, "How about right here?"
You see him realize the kind of conversation that he's about to have and goes, "Please, I just would like you to go away from this so that we are not having 2 competing sounds, okay? This is where I make my money. You can go make your money somewhere else, wherever else that might be."
Do you have somebody booked for the morning? At a
Always.
tavern?
Always.
Right. Interesting choice, but you do you, I guess.
You see him like, it is a choice that we have somebody alive always.
Oh, I'm sure that never gets annoying.
Sir, respectfully, leave the property.
Yeah, alright. Starting to smell anyway. And Cal picks up his loot case and walks maybe 15 feet away. Starts playing again.
You see him. Give me a perception check.
Oh, that's not great. Hold on. That is a hot nasty 4.
So you actually don't see anything. He just kind of like throws a hand out like and walks back in and closes the door. But you still have patrons who are walking by, like enjoying the morning music and something a little jauntier than they're used to.
Oh yeah. That's all that matters.
All right. And then probably as you're playing, not that you would recognize anybody, but next to arrive would probably be Zilphanis. Zilphanis, you are probably the closest to the city proper, and you arrive in your black robes, very kind of out of place, but you are swept into the building. You are shown to your room. Again, lavish, like absolutely stunning room. Has like this giant writing desk, this bookshelf full of books that mean nothing to you, and you're just the day is yours. What do you do?
So I come in and I'm like, ugh, the lavishness of the like inner circle is nothing super new to me. I've seen it before, but I'm kind of nervous to go out onto the streets of the inner circle, just a little bit on edge. So for now I'm just gonna go out onto my balcony and just look over and try and see what I can see if there's anyone coming, or if there's, see what's going on.
From this balcony, you can see kind of the expanse of the castle and kind of what's inside like that array. So you actually see all of the shopping. You see the tavern. You see where people are just milling about, going from their day-to-day life, the monotony of it all. Their lives aren't changing, but yours is. And that kind of sets in. Like, you know that this is just a day to them, and that their lives have not been uprooted in any sort of way. But what catches your eye is a purple tiefling strumming away on a lute in the middle of the day.
In the middle of the day. Interesting.
In the middle
choice.
Of the day.
Not typical as what I remember from my time in the inner circle. It's
always a good time to make money.
I'm kind of curious, so I'm gonna put my worries aside and I'm gonna go down and investigate, kind of keeping a close eye on the people around me. It's kind of make myself not very obvious.
Give me a stealth check.
$13.
Okay. You're pretty confident that nobody recognizes you. That you're kind of just under the guard, the guys. You're in your all black, and lots of people don't remember things, right? Life happens so fast, and you're certain that you're probably pretty good. And
Okay.
You are sitting there watching this tiefling play, who's playing really well. They're doing a really great job, and it's kind of jaunty. It's less like that classical beautiful, and it has more of like a rustic feel to it. That's kind of out of place, but pleasant.
Okay. I'll just take like a little silver piece and kind of just like flick it in the loot case without saying anything.
Cal gives you a little wink and keeps playing.
I'm just gonna be like, this guy is so weird, and just kind of mind my own business for now.
So Cal, this person who flips their coin to you, this is like this half elf who is dressed in all black. Will you give me a history check, please? Or religion. I'll let you
Absolutely.
do either, whichever one's best.
That's a good question, actually. Does the guy who doesn't like religion have good religion? No, it's history. All right.
Okay.
19. I'm rolling well tonight.
I love that. Okay, so
That's fantastic.
with a 19, you know these robes. You've traveled around. You've kind of been with your nomadic camp for a little bit, and they spent some time in the Chitin Plain, where the obsidian oracles are. These are the keepers of knowledge of the gods, knowledge of every being and their reincarnation. You recognize these robes to symbolize that they are from the obsidian oracle and that they're just enjoying your music right now.
Yeah, I don't think Cal interrupts his music by saying anything, but he takes a mental note because this isn't a thing that happens to him very often. Usually clerics like to avoid him like the plague, just because of his general vibe.
And how would you describe Cal's general vibe for the class?
A bisexual asshole.
Love it. Very on brand.
Yeah.
But Sylvanus, you just sit there watching. How long do you watch? Do you go back in your room? What are you doing?
You said this tavern was the Silver Tongue, right?
The Silver Tongue, yeah.
Okay. Well, I've spent a lot of some of my youth in the tavern, so I guess I'm just gonna, after like listening to like a couple songs, I'm like, okay, it's just music.
If you listen to a few songs, you both kind of recognize how you were brought into the castle. And so you recognize that somebody else is being brought in. And brought up through is a pink tiefling. Celine, you are ushered up through. You have your bags with you. Your head held up high with the responsibility and the heaviness of making your parents proud. Being taken into this haunting black obsidian castle where everything you've worked for is beyond. They take you into your waiting quarters. As you're passing through, you hear a nice folk tune. Something that you would hear at the academy from people just playing around or going around. And it's a familiar tune to you. And it fills you with a little bit of heart. And you're like, a little bit of a breath. And you all, both of you, clock the pink tiefling walking in. And this would be probably around noon. Johnny, when do you wake up?
I think I only need... Wait, let me double check something. I need to see how long I actually need to sleep.
Uh-huh. If you're a high elf, it's 4 hours. So you could be up right now.
5. Yeah, I'm probably up by now. Was it 5? 9? Yeah, I've been up for a while.
Okay. If you've been up for a while, you might be like, you're heading down into the lobby. You're gonna grab some food. There's always food in the kitchen. And that's so nice.
Can I say, Johnny Owl...
Yeah, go ahead.
Only skulks around places. Like, he's just very, like... always worried that someone's around the next corner ready to get him. So he's very, like... walks kind of slow, like... He, like, takes a real wide corner.
That sounds very on brand for him.
You see, as you are kind of widely taking this corner, ever vigilant, you see a pink tiefling walk through with bags and other cloud guard beside her.
Dart back, fast as fuck.
Like a wraith, Johnny Owl goes back, flat against the wall, just like, oh no. And Celine, can I have a perception check from you, please?
Sure can.
Thanks!
There's a 14 on the die with a +4 for an 18 perception.
Out of the corner of your eye, you're not sure what kind of a figure it was, but as you turn your head, something that was there is not anymore. You clock that.
Can I attempt to hide?
Yeah, give me a stealth.
That's a 8.
So, as you kind of walk through, you are taken in the same direction that this figure has taken. Trying to be a skinny Miss Minnie against that wall, you see a tall elfin figure with just big hair and an even bigger attitude. And you clock him as you walk towards your room that you are ushered into.
Don't say shit. I think I just try to observe and play it off.
She does not say a word to him as she passes, but she looks at him out of the corner. She just looks out of the corner of her eye as she passes. Gives
Can
a
I
little
try?
eyebrow raise and keeps going.
Can I try to glean as much information off just visuals alone? I want to try to get a whole like psych read on this person.
Give me an insight check.
Oh no. What does a dirty 1 get me?
So, a nat 1. You see that this is a pink tiefling walking past you.
I'm gonna go back to my room and start trying to put the dots together.
Okay, I love that. You're trying to put the dots back together from what the blonde dwarf told you from the Dawnflowers Ale House, and you're trying to put the pieces together, but God, these pieces are tough. Celine, you are taken into this room that has more turquoise than gold. It's a very blue room, and has, this giant writing desk, a giant chest of drawers, and your bags are dropped with you, and the cloud guard bow to you as they leave, and you're left to your kind of devices. What do you do?
I think the first thing she does is she kind of just like... Was I also carrying my own bags, or were they carrying everything for me?
You might have been carrying like one bag, but if you had bags, the cloud guard would take it for you.
So whatever bag I have on, like if it's a little satchel or something, she immediately takes it off, sets it on the desk, and just full face flops down on the bed.
This bed is comfy. You like go to lay in it, and instead of like smacking, you like go and you like sink in a little bit. It's pretty plush. Like these are some fancy fucking feathers that are in this down.
She's just laying there, just kind of like, she is just full sprawled out, like arms and legs dangling, like tail is just swishing back and forth, like absolute heaven. Like, this is more comfortable than the bed that I have at home.
These are the most comfortable bed that you have ever been in.
I think she just kind of gives it a minute, and she kind of just lets that weight settle off her shoulders and just lets herself relax for a minute, before she kind of gets up and orients herself with the room. If there's, you said are there doors to the balconies, or are they just open balconies?
So they're like glass window doors. You can open them if you'd like.
yeah, she'll like pull the curtains back and like push the doors open and kind of like let whatever light is outside in.
I would say it's almost mid-afternoon now. There's like a more golden light that cascades through. From your balcony, you can see kind of across the courtyard as well. You see a beautiful garden, and it has just kind of some stone patches that have fountains and benches and just giant crafted bushes of different shapes and animals. You see the Xanathats around and some deer, just like some nice topiaries, people, something that somebody puts a lot of effort into, just to make sure that it looks nice.
She just kind of opens it and just lets that light kind of hit her, and she just takes this view in because it's not, this isn't an everyday sight for her. And I think after like giving herself some time, I think she kind of just goes out. She's gonna go out and kind of explore the area she's in now that she's kind of settled and has the time.
Yeah, I would say you kind of like you go down to the main area, and do you go into the courtyard or do you go more towards like what's like in the city section?
Do I have to pass through the courtyard to get to the city, or is it separate?
It's separate.
I'll go into the city area.
Yeah, so you see a couple different taverns, you see some shopping. It's getting to evening, so some of the stuff is starting to close, some of the stuff is starting to open. And there's a lot of like outdoor places that if you still want to be, it's beautiful out. It's a nice temperate climate right now. It's not the rainy season, so it's not raining. It's beautiful. It's kind of where you can sit outside and it's not too hot. As the sun is setting, almost like a French, patisserie. You can sit out there, you can grab a coffee, a tea, something to eat, and just enjoy outside.
I think I'll find my way to like one of the patisseries.
Yeah.
Like one of these little cafes and just get like just like the biggest pastry I find. Like whatever looks delicious.
You put your order in at the front and you go have a seat, and you see this little gnome, right? She's maybe like 14, 15, like this is probably a family business, and she's like 3 feet tall, and she's like, I have 1 English tea for you, and I have this cinnamon, what's it called? And she like has it in her hand, and she looks at the menu, a cinnamon scone with truffle. And it's a big plate. Like it's a big, in her little hand, it's like the size of her head. And she sets it down, and it has like a beautiful golden toothpick in it with like a blue detailed flag, and it's hot and steaming and covered in like a creme, and it just smells of sugar and just like after a long day. And she goes, please enjoy, and like scurries off, and you see through the window, you kind of follow her through, and like she goes up to her, like what you assume to be either the father or uncle, and she's like, I did it, and he's like, you did so great, like fantastic. Why don't you grab those plates over there and we'll wash them? And so she goes to grab them, and they go bust the tables, and you see other patrons come by, and it's just a really lovely night out right now. And as the sun begins to fully set, the last person to arrive is Lucian. Lucian, down from your Xanathat, your legs hurt. That was a rough ride. Something that you're not used to. Those dire goats that you have at home, somehow much comfier than this, and you didn't think that was possible. Sets you down. You get a whoof, whoof, a little bit of dust kicks up as the Xanafat just like sits down heavy on its haunches, and you slide off, and your dwarf goes, "Follow the guard and they will take you to where you need to be. I'm going to take the Xanafat to the stables." And the Xanafat on its like little feet start teetering.
Mind you, I've probably not stopped talking to this dwarf the whole ride. Just every little piece of like, oh, there's, that's where the crag woods, main bend. You can see the rocks over here. And how big is the Xanafat's wingspan? And was it
12 feet. 12 feet.
I'm just like, they could span from maybe, when they're a little bit little, like 8 feet, and I've seen one even as 20 feet. The xenophants, they're marvelous. And I'm just like not even getting the cue that he's trying to like walk away.
This dwarf is just, he's like, yeah, that's crazy. And you've heard like 4 that's crazies in a row. And you're not getting the hint. And as you like set down and you have like your bag with you and they drop you off, and the Xanafat starts to like, with its little like taloned webbed feet, start to like clobber away. You see the dwarf like kicks its feet to get it to go faster to run away from you, but a new set of Cloud Guard, like, they greet you and they take you up these giant black steps leading to the biggest thing that you've ever seen, probably. This like huge castle that just in like the waning night, the very early beginnings, it just kind of gleams almost just in a way that you've never seen stone gleam before. Give me an Arcana check.
Ooh, okay. I give a little tap with my walking stick. You said an Arcana? Ooh, I like
yes.
that number. I like that number. An 18.
With an 18, with your you put your goggles back on your eyes and you tick it, right? And you're looking, because these gleam in like a weird way. You see that there are tiny little runes in each stone that cause it to gleam and shimmer, meaning that there's magic built into these stones. Some sort of defensive magic with these runes that you see. And you keep that in your mind, like, oh, what are we defending against? Kind of thought goes in your head.
Have I ever seen something like this before anywhere else?
You have never seen any stone or magic like this before. This is something completely new to you.
I just kind of something I can reach. Could I like run my hand over it?
Once you get closer, like once you start to go through the arch, you can definitely kind of touch it.
No, I'll just kind of look at the rest of the guard that I'm following along with as I rub a hand across the top. This is absolutely marvelous. They always like this, glowing.
You see this halfling cloud guard next to you. They have like short cropped red hair. They have freckles across their face. And they turn to you, they go, "Oh, well, I mean, the dwarves crafted this specifically for the castle. It's enchanted against projectiles, anything that would try to harm us. It's the main place to go if there were ever a siege. It's the strongest built thing that Axolinia has ever seen. So yeah, this is what it's always like and will always be." And they continue to take you to your room. And go ahead.
I was gonna say that'll spark a new conversation about the dioramas. It just, it's marvelous. A 5-foot round is all they need. 25 feet into the air. It's incredible. We've got them all over. And just a conversation all the way to my room.
You see like the half elf next to the halfling. She's kind of slender, and she's got her hair in like a long dark brown ponytail that's kind of braided at the end, and she just looks to the halfling and just goes, "Talker, huh?" And they're polite. Like they ask you like, "Oh, where do these come from?" And you tell them about the cragwood and the type of beast of burden that you have, and how like what they're needed for, because they're necessity. Like you have to have them to get around, especially if you have things like you have a research team. How are you gonna get around without it? And they take you to your room, and you hear, Johnny, how quiet or loud are you, like trying to put the pieces together to what you've had today?
I think he's trying to do it quietly. Like he's kind of like hunched over, maybe with like a really like a little notepad, kind of just like flipping through like notes, like pink tiefling question mark circled question mark flips it over, pink tiefling in castle question mark.
I love it. Use Lucian. Can I have a perception check, please?
Absolutely. Oh, okay. 16.
With a 16, this door is just slightly cracked, maybe an inch, just enough to let some fresh air through, and enough to have whoever's inside be able to hear what's going on outside. You see, sitting at a writing desk, this looming figure, furiously writing, but so quiet, and it's just like takes the pen and like puts it to their mouth and just like, huh, like write something else down. And you know, they're making notes, and you, a fervent note taker, another person of science, a researcher, you know, clock that like, oh, someone else. Okay.
I'm so excited to be surrounded by such brilliant minds. The conversations, the research notes we can pass and exchange. I'm just so excited.
You say this
So-
aloud?
Yes, I say that out loud.
Can I perception check to see if I hear this?
Absolutely, you can.
Because
I
this
need
man's out here chatting.
DC 12.
I just don't stop talking to
On perception or
Yep. I just needed you to be to 12.
that's a 5.
You hear something, but you're not sure what it is. Do you, like, when you hear something, do you close the door or do you open it?
I think I don't even really. I think I'm paranoid. Ooh. I look at the door, paranoid that someone's like watching me, and I see it's kind of slightly like open, but I don't see anything on the other side of it.
So you're just like, you just hear something, like a almost like just a constant monotone of talking, and you're like, okay, weird.
Just zoning it out.
But you definitely clock them, and they are actually in the room right next to you. And so you hear, Johnny, a door open, and Lucian, you're thanking them for taking them to your room, and they leave you to your devices. What do you do in your lavish room?
Sorry, before you go, my letter said there were others. I'm assuming it's an assembly of people. What am I to do?
You are free to roam the castle, as well as the courtyard beyond. The small cities that we have here are open to you until the very first of tomorrow. You have other people here who will be with you. They will be greeting you tomorrow. But you are welcome to roam about, but everyone will be adjoining early in the morning.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
Welcome.
They let you know where the food is, where the kitchen is. They let you know where the courtyard is, and kind of give you like a miniature lay of the land, and they kind of leave you to your own devices.
I'll go back into the room then, just to unburden myself with all the things that I've there's probably no reason I'll need a lot of this stuff, but I just might, and I have it just for that occasion. And I'll get right away to unpacking. Everything has a very meticulous and important place on that desk. I've laid out journals, an ink pen, and everything that I have. And I'll go and I'll put a hand on the bed. Oh, goose feather maybe.
You like tentatively sit on it, and your like heavy like stature sinks in, but it's like caressed. This is the comfiest bed that you have ever been in, and you're like this big. This bed is big, like can accommodate you fully, which isn't like normal.
wow.
You can have a full just relaxation Patrick Star, just full spread eagle on this.
I definitely, there's like a moment of like comfort just waves over me. It's just it's like a cloud. And after a few seconds, I'll kind of uncomfortably twitch, and I'm too used to stone slabs. This won't do. I'll just bring myself onto the floor.
You take one single goose feather pillow and the duvet covering it, and you make yourself a nice little pallet on the ground, something that still feels nice, but feels a little bit more like home.
Yes.
Everybody can kind of do what they like with the night, but at 8 a.m., everybody gets a knock on their door, telling them to prepare and get ready. You have 1 hour before you meet the royal family and the being. And that's where we'll end our session.
Oh shit.
Wait, we
Oh
got
my
1
God.
hour to go?
Just when it's getting good.
Guys,
my
that's
God.
it. That's where we end it. That's where we end it.
I
We will
level
start.
up!
Yeah.
Do we level up?
Level up,
Do we
DM?
level up?
I
Level
knew you were gonna say
2?
it.
I will
I
not
can't.
partake in this tomfoolery.
Oh, boo.
Me and you both.
Sorry.